Uh, what's up, everybody? What's up? So, hello, I'm Red Dirt Preacher, and I'm a little hoarse today, so you're going to find me stretching to talk. I'm doing this live off the 1111 Hub first, and then I'll share it among other platforms that I have, especially the porch. So, right now, I'm going to try to talk in a layman's way about chakras, and no need for a setup here. If it resonates with you, you'll stick and stay, and if it's not, don't eat food that's not for you. So just to break this down, and I don't know what level or stage you are in your spiritual awakening, so I'm just going to start down at the beginning and kind of treat us all like fifth graders, because even that fifth grade math is hard at times. So starting, the best way I could explain it through my personal experience, and I didn't even know what chakras were until I got into a spiritual awakening at 29, and I'm 37. I didn't even realize what was happening to me until about the time I got to the heart chakra, and then I kind of realized that I was on this thing, and I matched the papers. Okay, it looks like I'm on a chakra walk, all right, a chakra crawl. I don't hear that terminology. Probably the first one that's called it like that, but I want you to understand that first and foremost, chakras are an idea that's taken off of, if you need a literal explanation, they're from the other side of the globe and practiced in, quote, other religions. And when I woke up in the Lord, I ended up taking things that were from the other side of the world and marrying it together with the biblical text I was holding in my hand. So it really plugged two things in together. And that's when I realized we really didn't need all these religions, that maybe we're all a little bit right and we're all a little bit wrong. And all that religions are, church by church, religion by religion, is just accepting God's love in the way that they're comfortable accepting God's love. And if we truly released all that, and we're in a circle, like a TP, you know what I'm saying? There are no corners, there are no walls, there are no sides. You know, we're all one. So I kind of come from that mutt, eclectic spiritual background. But to get to the point, I'm here to, in my way, in my personal experience, I'm here to break down in a layman's way what chakras are. So they're out there in the world, in the library of the world, and you can actually get drunk on that knowledge and live in your pajamas for 2 weeks. Or I could give it to you in a layman's kind of a nut and bolt kind of comedy way, which I intend to do. And okay, so first of all, we have seven. We have 7 chakras, and if you didn't know that, welcome to the party. We have 7 chakras, and because I'm backboned off of Jesus Christ, I came to my own spiritual awakening the past 7 years. Once about the 3rd or 4th year, I was interjected with chakras, and I already came with my own resistance. I was telling the spirit, like, no, I can't learn from that. I'm I was strict in my indoctrination of what religion I came from, and as I put the walls down, I understood that, wow, well, all right, it makes a lot of sense. And I ironically find myself sitting here making sure that it's one of the first or second, third pieces of pie, a mana, that you get from me, because it's you need to know. You don't have to believe in chakras, and if you do, that doesn't make you wrong, or the water's not damned. Okay, I believe in chakras, and I just did a video on oud oil, so the water's not damned. Okay, I believe that chakras are, in essence, our soul, and we can't see our soul if we go to the doctor. And even all the way back in old times, we didn't even know what we looked like until we saw our own reflections in the water, i.e. later on mirrors, as we start to understand our physicality of our bodies. And it wasn't until we literally broke somebody open, or waited until they broke open like Humpty Dumpty, to see what we were made out of. And there's barbaric doctor practice throughout the Middle Ages that slowly taught us what our insides look like and how they work. And as we've come up in IQ, we have doctors nowadays that can do amazing things because they understand how the body works. Now, there's I can't see my lungs, I can't see my stomach, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life hopefully not seeing my lungs and my stomach, okay, with my temporal eye. I'm just going to go ahead and believe that they're there, all right, because I'm taking that knowledge, okay, all right, I let it resonate. I'm pretty sure that they're there because I feel them. I feel my lungs. I know when my lungs are sick, and I know when my lungs are healthy. And I know what my stomach is. I feel my stomach, okay? So I don't need to have what some would call, quote, biblical proof that I have these things inside me. It's knowledge that we've ascertained, and it's obvious. And I hope that I never see these things, but yet I know they exist. And that's the way that I treat the living spirit of our living Lord, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus, and the Trinity is I don't need to see it, but I do feel it and quite know that it's there, and I can understand what it's for. Amen. So, as I talk about chakras, there are 7 of them, and I think that is kind of holy. It's God's favorite number. So there are 7 chakras, and to me, as I was learning, I kind of pinned it to 7 holy points of surrender. Because in essence, to me, I've kind of taken into my own house and my own casserole, and in my red dirt way, I kind of pinned chakras as being our soul. It's our soul, and we don't have a doctor or a machine, a CAT scan. We don't have anything really that's going to show us human beings that they do exist. We don't have anything that goes that deep. And perfect, good. Some things we must feel, right? So we're here to feel our chakras and know that they exist, not to see them and know they exist, just like your lungs or your stomach or your elbow bone. Okay, yeah, elbow bone. I did that. Layman. So you feeling me? You on train so far? All right, cool. This isn't going to knock you out of God's favor. I can promise you that, because I do bring prophetic message on my tongue, because I've done a lot of work in the Lord, and it's not something I thought I was going to get. He kind of just grew it off the side of me, and to my surprise and chagrin. So it's hard acceptance of what He's doing in me, and making the porch to showcase it out loud takes a lot of strength and a lot of gravitas. So I'm just here openly and transparently to show you my personal experience. All right, so I believe that the chakras are the essence of our soul, and we don't know what our soul looks like. We hardly feel our soul, and we spend a lot of our lives going through our life making sure that we put our soul on a shelf, because it's odd, crazy, and out of place, and kind of selfish to serve your soul. And the author adversary is the one that owns this earth, so of course the world would tell us opposite of truth, and that's the problem we have everywhere. So if you flip the knowledge back around, you need to understand that the truth of it is we need to serve the soul first. That's the house of God and the Spirit and love, and that's where authenticity lands, and our mission, and what we're here to do, and that all lands in the Spirit, in the spiritual house. God is Spirit, and that's Matthew 4:24. So when you're on a spiritual awakening, to me, you're just waking up in God. You're waking up in Spirit. You're waking up in Holy Spirit, and the way to do that, I believe, is a chakra map, and it helps you. It guides you, and it does make some sense. I didn't treat the chakras as a Bible. I didn't learn everything there is to know about them, because you can have a PhD in chakras, believe me. So I didn't go all the way there, but I did learn enough to understand what was happening on my inside house, which is the inside of me. All right, so let's do real quick. We're going to name them, and then I'm going to give you some physical symptoms to show you that they exist, okay? So the first one you have is the root chakra, and it's red. And you're going to find that typically at the base of your spine. Right, as down here at the ranch, we would say, where the good Lord split you. Okay? All right. So the next chakra you're going to have is the Sacral Chakra, and it's right below the navel. Okay? All right, peach fuzz zone. Cool. All right, and then the next one is the Solar Plex Chakra, and it's a little bit above the navel, right in the gut there. Okay? Then you have the Heart Chakra, obviously, right here in the heart. You have the Throat Chakra, you have a Third Eye Chakra, and you have a Crown Chakra, okay? So there's 7 points of holy surrender. And when you have a spiritual awakening, God doesn't go down through your head and out your butt. He actually kicks you in the arse and goes up through you, through the top, blows your top. And to me, that's how the holy energy runs through us. And when He's doing that, He's cleansing our houses of all of our demons and Apollos, and we fight our battles, learn our lessons. So we stop creating patterns in our lives that are toxic, and we start living for excellency, not just to be good. And we strive and we get hungry, and this is all the things that are latent in the Bible anyway. So this chakra talk and walk took me right to the Lord's feet, and took me right to a spiritual mantle I had no idea it existed. So it takes a dash in between for me, okay? It takes the story. So now that we've went through them, I'm going to give you some examples and some symptoms that you feel when you want to know if the chakra's real. Is it real? Is gravity real? Drop something, okay? All right, so take a little breath here. The root chakra, how do you know it's real? The root chakra is delicately located. If you go look at books, I'm not just saying it, books around the world and libraries around the world, the root chakra is attached to our safety, our stability, our comfort, and our security. And that's where our life force sleeps. Our spirit is dormant, not dead. The spirit is within us, and it's dormant, not dead. And it takes God kicking us right between where the good Lord split us, right in that root chakra. And if you think about it, when you get kicked in the, I cuss here, it's the way we do it sometimes. So if you get kicked in the ass, you're going to get moving. If you kick a horse, you're going to get moving. And I know that the good Lord knows that we get moving if we take a big old nice kick in the ass. And so if we take a big kick in the root chakra, we take a big kick, something happened to our stability. We lost our jobs. We lost our comfort zone. We lost our security, our stability, and our safety. So, and this is all connected to the clothes on your back, the food you eat, and the home that you provide for yourself and your loved ones. When that's on shaky ground, we're talking about the root chakra. I don't mean to go too deep, because you could go deep on this all day. I just want to give it to you my layman way. So now you know what a root chakra is. If you guys haven't noticed, and I've had deaths in my family, I've had to tell the truth, the kind that makes your throat hot, and the kind of truth that changes your life, okay? I've had to tell that kind of truth in my life. And I've also I've had my heart broken. I've had truth burn, when people tell you the truth that you really don't want to know. And, so things happen to us on the inside. Let's take a look. When we have a root chakra kick, we get the shits. I know, right? Go ahead and laugh. It's okay. I told you I'm giving this to you in a comedic, layman way. What happened for those of you that got divorced? What happened when you got divorced? There's a joke around that. The people get the divorce diet. It's a joke for a reason. People poo-poo their way back into 4 pant sizes backwards. They're all skinny again because the root chakra took a shaking. And you can tell physically, because your body is a barometer to these chakras. You want to know what's wrong with you, take your physical symptom and go deeper, and that's going to land like on your lung or your heart or your spleen. Go a little bit deeper, and it's going to be connected to a chakra that you've got to heal. And that's a soul level kind of stuff. You know what I mean? That's high math. So that's divine math on you. So rabbit hole stuff, Anyway, what I'm talking about is, all right, so we were on the root chakra, and what happens? How do you know that a root chakra exists? Well, like I said, the root chakra is connected down low at your spine, and down low at your spine is your colon, is your intestine, is all of that. So when you literally get kicked in the stability, the safety, the comfort, and security, you get a physical barometer of that by, i.e., getting the divorce diet. You know what I mean? When you get the crap scared out of you, root chakra, you got scared. You lose your job, people learn the truth, they literally have to go to the bathroom. There's a reason for that, okay? There's a reason for that. There's a chakra there. And so moving on. How do you know that then the next chakra, what's the next chakra? We got the root chakra, we got the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is about creativity. It's the sexuality chakra, and a lot of us need healing in sexuality. We have bad partner, bad communications, porn and addiction and lack of intimacy. That's all related to sexual healing. Go Marvin Gaye. But so is the sacral chakra. So a lot of us have been physically and sexually abused in our lives. We would take a big hit in our sacral chakra. And when you do the work that the Holy Lord wants you to do, it's a holy curriculum that's going to do nothing but change you, not change other people. You're not here to change other people. Other people are here to change you. And the journey is to change you. So there's good healing in all of this, and you come out bigger, better, and stronger. And you phoenix, you rise out of your own ashes, and that's what this is for, and that's what the Lord is for. Amen. So I just don't see how they're not connected. Anyway, when you're getting to the soul, when we're at the sacral chakra, that's creativity. That's creativity. And how do you know that you have that? Well, come on, we've all done a little bit of mattress dancing. We all get that little tingle right there at the navel. So, also, when you're creating, for women bearing children, when you're creating, it all happens right there at the uterus, or right there below the navel in the creative house. And even for men, you don't have a wound, you don't have in utero, but you still have a chakra there. And a lot of these chakras just lie dormant and not spinning because we're unconscious in our life. And when we take a nice kick of energy from the universe, i.e. a tower moment, i.e. dissolution of kingdom, i.e. You fell off your white tower and your whole life fell apart. When those things happen, that's that root chakra kick. And we need that because that energy then begets the next energy and the next energy. And once we get kick-started, we don't stop because the journey's never done, and we're curious and we want to change our lives. We want better, and we feed off a mana this way, and it is the Lord. So the next chakra up from that is going to be the solar plex, and that's your gut. Okay, that's in your gut. That's in your belly. How many times have you been driving down a road or going to somebody's house and you have a gut feeling and you minded it? Hello, that's because there's a chakra there, not because Mama Spaghetti told you to do it. There's a chakra there. So our gut, it's our house, and it tells us to do stuff. And that gut, solar plex chakra, is also the one that drives us. It's where we get our willpower, where we have that energy. Okay, and so the cool thing is the next chakra after that is going to be, I'm going to get a drink. The next chakra after that is the heart chakra, and that's when we realize that we make decisions out of love, not fear. Because prior to that, we were making decisions out of fear, staying in relationships and jobs because out of fear. You know what I mean? And when we release ourselves into freedom and into the Lord, we take this walk, and by the time we get to the heart of it, we really understand at this point that we have solar plex, which is power. We have sacral, which is I want to create, and we have a root chakra that says, I don't want this shit no more, and oh, the shit's going crazy. Root chakra just, oh shit. You might as well just remember that. So when we do the work of the root chakra, the sacral, and the solar plex, when we do the first three ourselves, they're the first three lowest ones. Spirit told me that's when we have the power to create some shit. We got the power to create some shit. And that's because we got the willpower to create some shit. We got it all ready to go. We just don't know what to do with it. And that's when the heart steps in. And Jesus told me when we're taking that chakra walk, the heart is the 50-50 line. It's the halfway point. So as with anything in a good father, you get some things for free and other things you got to work for. And it's no different than in our Holy Father. So to me, when we're taking this chakra walk, he told us that we need to do the root chakra stuff. We need to do the sacral. And we need to do the solar plex. And that gives us the power to create some shit. And when we get to that point where we're bubbling in the belly like an impregnated woman, and we've got this power to change our lives, we've got some power to create, we want to do something new, we're inspired to do something different, we need to plug it into something. And what's great is the next chakra up is the heart chakra, and that's where Jesus is the bridge. And you'll find that even out in the libraries of the world, if you Googled it, the heart chakra is the bridge to the mind and the body. And I think that's amazing because Jesus is our bridge. And he already told me prophetically, when we get to the heart chakra, that's him. He helps us change making our decisions, not decisions out of fear, but decisions out of love. And we treat our whole lives and ourselves different when we start making decisions out of love, not fear. And we meet him at that halfway point. So when we bag up our shit and we're ready to create some power, we bring it up into the heart. We meet Jesus there. And that's when he takes over. The next three chakras on top of that, I believe, are the God zone. I didn't get that from books. I got that from the holy water. And they're the three chakras I don't believe that we really control, and we don't control unless Jesus is walking on water with us. And those three chakras after the heart meeting with God. So you brought your stuff up. You met him halfway, and he's going to take you the rest of the way. The other chakras lie in our throat, our third eye, and our crown. And our throat is a purification message. It gets out the shit that you gotta say. That stuff from the root chakra, that stuff from the gut. It does nothing but lie inside you, useless if you don't get it out of your throat. And when I started learning in God, he showed me like a baby bird, like opening its mouth, and he simply told me, Lainey, open your mouth. That's how you show up in the world. It's not hard. I'm with you. I give you holy message. All you gotta do is show up. All you gotta do is open your mouth. And that's the same as it is for our throat chakras. We got to start speaking for ourselves. Hey, I'm not in love. Hey, I hate this job. Or hey, I need to forgive myself. Or you guys got to start being real to yourself and getting that truth out. Again, your body is a barometer of these chakras. How do we feel the solar plex chakra? How do you feel it? Because it's in your gut. How many have you ever had butterflies in your belly? How many have you ever had an elevator flip in your stomach when you got excited or you got slightly scared? That is your chakra telling you, hi, I exist. There's no machines, but hi, can you feel me? Boo, And we only might feel them a few times in our lives if we're unconscious to it. Now that you're awake to going, oh, that's what that is. I feel it more often. Same thing happened to you when you were a toddler. You carried your legs around for about almost a year and a half to 2 years behind you. You made other people carry you for Christ's sake, and you had legs until one day you started using them, and now you're walking. Awesome. So I believe that this message and this education is given to us, and again, through me, for you, if you want to take it, to help us get up off these legs of ours and spiritually start running in the Lord. And so at the throat chakra, how do we know I have a throat chakra? Well, throat chakra is talking truth. Have you ever had to say real truth in your life? Because a lot of you, I bet you have, or you're needing to. And what happens to your throat physically as a barometer to let you know that a chakra is there? Your throat gets tight. It feels like you swallowed a rock. You got no spit. You know what I'm saying? So the throat chakra. And when we don't tell our truths, we end up barometer. We end up getting sicknesses in and around our lymph nodes and our throats and chronic problems. And that's your body telling you to get the shit out. You need to talk. Everything's connected spiritually and everything's connected. COVID taught us that, yes. So the next chakra after that is going to be the third eye chakra and the crown. And like I said, I was a Baptist, religion banner runner for a long time until I took my spiritual journey. So when I came across the third eye, I was all like, no, God, this is not you. This is not the Bible. This is wrong. I can't believe in this. And he's like, I'm not asking you to believe in this. Okay. I'm asking you to attain some knowledge from it. Yet I didn't ask you to believe in the moon and that the moon changes the tides. You just understand there's knowledge in it. Yeah. So, moving on. The third eye is right here. And how do you know you have a third eye? The third eye to me, and well, to books around the world, the third eye is you and your communion with the divine, starting to see things in a different light, starting to see things differently, being programmed differently, if you will. And it's awareness. It's known to be light. You know what I'm saying? So it's asking you too in the third eye to step beyond duality. And this is when you get visions and spiritual IQ, right here, the third eye. And if you ever had anybody kiss you on your forehead, have you ever been kissed on your forehead by a lover, by your mother, by anyone that truly meant it? How did that feel? And I know that for me, when people kiss me on the forehead, it's really an essence of love, truly, even more so than the lips or the cheeks. When you kiss someone on the forehead like your children, it is a real epic love that does that. And if you've ever been a receiver of a true kiss on the forehead, it feels like warm water until you can feel it in your heart, And to me, that's Christ. That's awesome. That's God. So in that third eye, that's where you get the visions. And I spoke about that in the last video I just put up about oud oil, about how you get the movie montages. And so that happens. I told you that the top three chakras here past the heart are going to be God's zone. He owns these. And this is why. Because when you speak from the throat chakra with God with you, it's prophetic speaking. You don't get the third eye awakening. You don't get those visions and movie montages unless God allows it to open you up. And then we have the crown chakra. And the crown chakra is you being in holy communion with Jesus Christ without pushing up daisies. That you can actually, what I like to call, hear from your A-team. You get cliff notes on your own life. And a lot of it's self-work. It's self-realization. It's profound self-realization and enlightenment and ahas that really turn you into an empathic person. And that's medicine for the world, okay? So, to me, this is a godly map, straight to a rainbow, and a rainbow is the promise that he made in the sky, and he made a rainbow promise to us. He's my rainbow bridge. And if in case you didn't know, this is an interesting fact. The chakras are actually Roy G. Biv. Okay, your bottom chakra root is red, and you go up from there. Orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, Roy G. Biv. So to me, it's the rainbow running through us. It's the promise running through us. And it goes up your arse and out the top of your head. And by the time God's done with you, you're a completely different person. And that's what happened to me. So at the bottom three chakras, you do the shit work. You meet him halfway at the heart. And then if you do that, then he grants you the gateway to have what we're all supposed to have here, and that's holy communion with him while we're alive. And that's why he left the spirit. He didn't say, I leave you religions. He said, I leave you the spirit. And look at the wonderful things that spiritual awakening can do. So, hey, little buddy, you come over here to join me? My son walked in the room. What do you need help with?
Your charger.
Your charger for your computer? Mm-hmm. What's the matter with it?
It's not working.
Hold, please. It's not working. Can you grab Zane?
He said no.
What? Okay. Mommy, I'll come get it in can you give me 3 more minutes? Pretty please. Can you ask Kelly? I have multiple kids. This could work out. Do what, baby? Okay. All right. Well, I will be there in 3 minutes, okay? Can you wait patiently for me? Okay, please. Thank you. I love you. All right. Okay, so I have a 7-year-old who has a plugging in problem with his computer. So I have a 3-minute promise to him. And it's going to kind of cut this short, but for you men out there, and maybe some of you ladies, I don't mean to be sexist at all, but I wanted to kind of pinpoint again to try to make it real to you that chakras are real and how you feel them. You get butterflies in your stomach. You get the shits. Your heart patters. It quickens when there's love around. When God does a flyby by your heart, our throats do shrink with having truth to tell. And, you know, so there's evidence and feeling that the chakras are real and they are a part of your house. And the more that you honor them, the more that you can use them, be aware of them, it makes you super awesome and super aware. And one of the ways I wanted to kind of teach you about this was a car. And how you get a car to be a super performing car, a peak performance car. The root chakra, in a way, would be like the chassis or the frame of a car. Depending on what chassis or frame that you put on a car, that's the difference between an SUV, a 4x4, or a compact car, and its handling and its maneuvering. And all of that, again, is found right there in your root chakra, your framework. What are you made out of? What kind of car are you? And you got to figure these questions out. And I think that's exactly what the spiritual walk is for. As you hit these 7 points and ages and stages in the Lord, you're going to find out who you are. And you're really going to become your soul, not your role. And you're going to learn that we shouldn't have ever put our soul on a shelf and made the body work to be the pleaser of the mind. The mind is a POW and it is a bitch in this. It needs to get in the back. This journey needs to be led by your soul first. And then your heart gets behind that. And then your body, your elbow, your arm, your back, your boots, everything that's alive that works could be an ambassador for what the soul wants. All right. And the brain can just shut up and come along with it and have a hell of a story to tell. Right. So I reprioritized my ride there. So the root chakra is more of our frame and our chassis. If you move over into the sacral chakra, we were talking about that sexuality, but that's also creativity. And to me, if I was to parlay that onto a car, I would say that that's like the sexiness of the body of the car, the curves, the fender. Corvettes have high wheel wells and things, and different cars and Hummers and different cars have a different appeal. Have a different, quote, sex appeal, have a different, look at that. So, I would move on and say the next chakra is the willpower chakra. That's the solar plex. If I could put that blueprint on a car, you're looking at the drivetrain. Oh, you get that's a big word, drivetrain, and that is willpower. That is the solar plex, and we have one inside of us. And what is a drivetrain? It's the motor plus the transmission plus the drive shaft, the differential, all that, the real axle. It's what makes the wheels turn in the back, you know. So mechanically, this is the drivetrain, and really what powers and pushes the car. That gives it that power. And that's what we're talking about. I'm parlaying metaphorically what we have inside of us. So, and at the 50-50 mark, you're going to have the heart here. And I look at that's the motor. Without the motor, the body, the frame, the drivetrain is nothing, right? So when you take these things and you plug them into the motor or the heart, motors have different sizes, different types. There's inline 4-cylinders, and then there's 12-cylinder V12s, and there's Hemis, and depending on the size that matches the frame and chassis, all this has to be in perfect alignment to make a car work, all right? And I'm explaining this to you because the chakras have to be in a certain alignment to really make you in your peak performance, in your high performance, and make you a classic car. Going not vroom, 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 but like potato, 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 potato. You know what I'm saying? So back home, that's what we do at the ranch. The throat chakra here is your purification, your performance. And to me, in a car, this would be the exhaust system, tuning the headers, you know, getting that horsepower properly tuned in. And horsepower equals energy. So again, where you're speaking life into your life. You're speaking good things about yourself. You're speaking the good news. We control that right here in our throat chakra. We need to speak our truth so we don't live in bondage of other people's feelings or other people's guilt or other people's misdeeds. We really have a lot to say to free ourselves, you know, and living out loud in authenticity is as massive freedom. And you're only going to do that if you speak up. If you speak for yourself, and you do that from the throat chakra. So we do that, and as a car, that'd be like the exhaust system. So when you're moving up a little bit, the third eye chakra, I didn't do a little planning on this, but I would say in a way that's you, that's the driver, all right? You're the all-seeing eye there, right? And you get to ride around in this nice, cool, awesome machine that is powered enough to get you down the road and is perfectly aligned for speed and handling and drift and all that makes a super performance car a great performance car. And then at last, you have a crown chakra. And to me, the crown chakra is the communion, the collective, all this collectiveness of all these parts make up the car. And now the car is a classic high performance car. You know, it's got aerodynamics, and it's got gear ratios, and you know, the transmission, the differential. It's totally badass. It can run 4 seconds and a quarter mile. You know, it's a high performance car. And you know, there's There's no shitty gears in the rear end, okay? So Jesus just means for us to understand that it's okay to take this walk. The water's not damned. I just brought you a message that was prophetic from talking about oud oil, and I too took the chakra walk, and the water's not damned. So I ask you just to break apart what you were constrained. If you have constraints, please leave all constraints on the welcome mat on the porch, and allow Jesus to give you new truths. And if that resonates, you take it inside, and if it resonates with you, then allow yourself the freedom to change your mast, to change your direction, your trajectory. Let Jesus drive. He knows where you're going. So anyway, I think that's that for now. I just wanted to point it out that they're real and they're important. I actually don't do a lot of talking on chakras, much less than I just did to point them out. So off with you. Go look it up. Don't lose yourselves. Everything in balance. So if you're feeling called to kind of go check that out, then go check it out for yourself. And you're not going to mess up being you. Okay, you're not going to mess up being you. You don't need a guru and a teacher all along the watchtower. How you learn these things is up to you and your spirit. It's like when we were being taught how to write cursive when we were kids. All of us learned a certain form, but by the time we got in 6th or 7th grade, we all had a different slant and a different way that we did cursive writing. And guess what? We can all write a language. So, your walk with Christ is to me very much like this path. We all learn from a certain form, but I believe that open up a little and find your own slant, find your own way, and you're still writing. Okay, you're still writing, and so hopefully that helps you release you from question marks or confusion. And I know that too, just from personal experience, and this might help release some of you as well if you were locked up in this. I was locked up in the idea a while back when I was first waking up in God with all this new knowledge and it not quite fitting the Bible or my dogma of religion, and I'm glad that he broke me out of that. But I can keenly remember back when I was at this point, and I totally just lost my train of thought, and that happens a lot because my son's like peeking at me through the door over there. Anyway, I'm just saying that there's it's not wrong. It just needs to be accepted. And that part of my quote, if I have to have a ministry, part of my quote ministry is to marry some of these truths with Christ, you know what I'm saying, and mash them up together, because I am a living example of them being mashed up together. And I hope that I can credit them, not discredit them. I think that spirituality and chakras and things like that, having visions from the Lord and talking from, having God talk to you, these things have been massively discredited in the past. Probably I would give a lot of credit to the heathen devil for his work there. Way to pee on the truth, and make it look bad so everybody stays away from it. I think it's time to polish off the new truth and really present it to the world. And I know that God's doing that through me. And that's hard work, because that means you're kind of going against the grain. All right. But anyway, enough is enough for now. It's like 5 o'clock. So I may or may not get to you this evening. It depends on how my evening goes. Thanks for hanging out and supporting the porch. I love you. Stay kind and stay out of your mind. And know you're not crazy. You're just anointed.